What's poppin', yo? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're taking a look at another film review. And this film review is all about a movie which I watched last night called The Old Ways. This is yet another horror movie. I've been reviewing quite a few horror movies on the channel as of recent and over the past couple of months because there's just a lot of them. And I want to take a look at the good and the bad, and some of the less popular and some of the most popular, and seeing how they fare against each other, and which ones stand out to me and which ones don't. This one had a really good cover picture on Netflix, which definitely got my attention and definitely made me click on this more than anything else. I don't often read the description. I'll look at the teaser that Netflix shows, and then I'll look at the image, and then I'll be like, you know what, let's go for it. And I'll go in blind and watch the movie, and sometimes I regret it, sometimes I don't, and this one is a little mixed bag of both. Does some things that I quite like and does others which I'm not a huge fan of. So without any further delay, let's take a look at what Google has to say. So The Old Ways came out in 2020. It is a horror drama which is 1 hour and 30 minutes, and it felt like a whole lot longer. Not gonna lie, it felt like a good 2-3 hour movie. And it is a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is higher than I would expect, and then a 5.4 out of 10 on IMDb. So a pretty mixed bag of reviews here. You can watch it on Netflix, Google Play, and Amazon Prime, and a journalist returns to her Mexican hometown. I'm not gonna say that. For a seasonal story on tribal culture, unfortunately the locals think she is demonically possessed and capture her. So how the story goes is she goes on a journalist journey and her friend tells her not to, and she's like, fuck you, I'm going anyway. I'm not going to listen to you. This is my journey. I want to go. I'm going to do it. She goes. Her friend follows her. When she gets knocked out or attacked by something, she gets dragged back to a village and by her friend, and then she's locked up and chained. She's kept in this room. She is kept in this room for 3 days, tied up, chained to the wall, and force-fed goat milk, which is fucking weird. And I do believe that's the only thing that she's given to eat. She does have a chicken to keep her company, and that there is a child that sort of stands at the door and stands at the window every so often to keep her a little bit entertained and a little bit sort of, company, I guess. They come back to her room every time, check her eyes, which have a little bit of a delay to them, and that's how they know that she's a demon, because of her eye delay. And she isn't really trusting of these people. She gets given a dictionary and a book to sort of help her translate, to find out what demon's inside her. She goes through a load of trials where the old lady sticks her hand in her stomach and rips out snakes, vines, disgusting shit. She throws up hair. She is bleeding from the eyes at some point, and she is trying to get all the bad stuff out of her body, and the goat milk is going to help with that. I don't know how the goat milk is going to help with that, but the goat milk is supposed to help. And she continues her journey, continues going through all these trials. She starts to realize that there is actually a demon inside her, and she wants to get it out because it's making her more violent and making her aggressive and making her feel empty inside because it's feeding off her emotions. So she finds out which demon it is. They do the ritual to get it out. And in doing the ritual, the mother dies, and the spirit, quote-unquote, dies as well, but it actually goes into her best friend, and she then becomes the spirit lady, and saves her friend from the demon, and then they bring her old co-worker in and save him from a demon at the end of the movie, and that's how the movie ends. I'm gonna be honest, the character connections here, quite boring. They have no connection here. There's argument for 1 second, boom, they're done. The old lady and the old guy who are sort of helping her, she hates them 1 minute, and randomly halfway through the movie, boom, she believes the demon, she accepts them, she accepts the help, and she fucking tries to join them, and she turns into one of those spirit ladies herself, which seems like a complete switch up from her character from the beginning of the movie. And she didn't want to be there at the start. She thought she was fine. But for whatever reason, halfway through, she randomly just clicked and was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm sick of this fucking demon taking away my duvet, fucking killing the chicken. Every time I get a chicken pallet, fucking dies. And there's a random fucking child watching me. And I just want this demon to be gone. It's pissing me off. And she then decides, you know what, she's gonna actually go through with it, and no matter how much pain she goes through, she still wants it out, and she still keeps going through, which I think is extremely fucking brave. Because I would not appreciate an old lady fucking ripping apart my insides, trying to pull out a fucking snake, and then letting it go and go back inside me. That would have pissed me off. That would have royally pissed me off if she was pulling out that snake and she accidentally slipped and it went back inside me, because all that effort was for fucking nothing. All that pain and effort to get it out was for fucking nothing because she fucking dropped it. That would have genuinely pissed me off. And this movie isn't that scary. It does use very cheap horror movie tactics, with it going very quiet, and then boom, loud sound, jump scare, scary face on the screen, and that just pisses me off, because it's not scary. You didn't get me scared because of the monster. You scared me because you shocked me with a loud sound. It wasn't a scare, it was a shock. It was a sound, not a fucking horror movie, like, doing good. And it does that so fucking often. Sometimes it will try and be a little bit more creative with it and hide the monster in the background and have it jump out at you at a random time. And I feel like that's slightly more creative and slightly more acceptable than making it dead quiet and then loud sounding me with a fucking deafening blast of like a screech, scream, roar, whatever you want to call it, as it's jumping towards me. That doesn't work as a scare for me, because it's just a loud sound, and going from dead quiet to really loud, anybody's gonna jump at that. That's a very cheap sort of basic scare, and it's not a good horror movie trope. It sort of falls along the lines of like a Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare, and even those are pretty low fucking bar, so it's not that exciting. The demon itself looks pretty fucking creepy, and when it is revealed towards the end of the movie, I do quite like it. I like seeing them fight it, but they don't really fight it. They sort of give up and accept, like, death, and then it gets killed because she does a quick switcheroo and splashes it with something. And, again, a little self-sacrifice switch-up. That's another overdone trope in action movies, where it's like, oh, you can take me, don't worry, self-sacrifice, bada bing, bada boom, only joking, fuck you, bad guy. Fuck off. And I don't think you can actually kill a demon. I'm gonna be honest, I think they just stopped it from attacking them. They didn't want to escape and they didn't want to run away because it wouldn't stop coming after them. So I think they just saved themselves, because this demon will have just gone to find someone else that is less, like, sorry, less knowledgeable in the demon world. So, yeah, the weird flashbacks she keeps having to this cave, I don't really understand. And her mum was actually possessed by a demon at birth, and that was one of the few good jump scares that got me. And it was right at the fucking start, where her mum was giving birth, she scratched her hand, and she fucking roared at the child and fucking tried to eat the child with, like, razor-sharp teeth and, like, eye bags. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't expecting that, because that came out of left field. Like, she was screaming in pain, obviously giving birth, and then it turned into, like, aggression and roaring and trying to scratch and eat the child. And that was scary. That genuinely sort of threw me off guard and came out of left field. I wasn't expecting that. So it did a good job to start with. It just went downhill because we trapped a lady in a room and tortured her for like an hour. And that was really it. That's the movie. We sat her in a room, tortured her, made her fucking go through all this fucking endurance tests by shoving your hand in her stomach, force-feeding her goat milk, and basically making it impossible for her to sleep. That's all they really did. And for whatever reason, torture made her change her mind and made her believe that she could be a demon lady too. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure what to feel. Like, this isn't the greatest movie. It's not the worst movie. Like I said, it does some things good, some things bad. And I just feel like the story wasn't there and the connection between the characters wasn't there. It was very forced, and I feel was a very intentional switch up just to move the story along and just to get her to where the writers wanted her to be at the end of the movie. Other than that, I don't really have much else to say about this movie, so I hope you all enjoyed this YouTube video. I'll see you all next one. I hope you all have an excellent day, and goodbye. Stay home and stay safe. If you do want me to review any other movies, TV shows, or animes, please do leave it down in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time. I forgot to mention, I am going to rate this movie a solid sort of 4 out of 10. It's not the best, it's not the worst. I wouldn't recommend it and I wouldn't watch it again, but it is one that I have watched and is, again, quite mid, so it's like a 4 to 6 range.